Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is Mr. Dogbo333, and welcome back to Hard to Find 4, the New Order Last Days of Europe as the Russian government of the Far East. In the last video, finished up on all of this. We're doing the rest of our economy, our military tree. And, yeah. Just kind of, taking her for the last, or figuring out the last little bit that we need to. Liquid reserves. Do we have liquid reserves? We actually do. I will hold on to these for now, because I'm guessing we're going to need them. That was our credit. I don't even know why I decided to look at it. Let's give them a job offer. Why not? One of the many things our Navy is missing is a good pool of recruits to derive our core of our Navy's manpower from. However, there's an obvious potential source: the decrepit Red Banner Pacific Fleet, the remnants of Ivan Yumashev's vapid and unsuccessful attempt at maintaining his troops at Petropavlovsk. A large percentile of them still remain within our many labor camps. By contacting, organizing, and attempting to recruit these elements of Yumashev's old command, we'll be able to not only harness a large portion of manpower for our fleet, but experienced manpower that. And with the men comes a fleet, several ships, some large and small, as well as a pride of what will become the Free All-Russian Navy, a battleship that shall be renamed to the Voz Konstantin Radzevsky. Well, of course it will be. Still waiting for our anti-air to get figured out, of course. That's why I still have that factory. It's been a few days. It has been quite a while since I've last recorded. When was the last time? Well, 6 days ago. So, yeah, I'm getting all already, which is not good. I try to minimize that if I can consciously, but sometimes you just can't do that. Anywho, goddamn, there I am doing it. Where's this recording at? It's recording to desktop, great. That's a little annoying, but what are you gonna do? I'll just have to move the file over when it's done. So, since the last time I recorded, I started school. Number one, that's going pretty well. It is a Tuesday when I'm recording this. I only have a Zoom class, so I decided to stay home and I'm gonna do some stuff. Port of Magadan is not what it used to be, at least superficially. The workers from the camp have spent the last week cleaning up, decorating, arranging the chairs. And also the cleaning of the blood of those inmates shot for not working hard enough or shot for passing out from exhaustion. Even if the Voz knew about that, he would hardly care. This is a glorious moment for the restoration of Mother Russia. Looking at the former Oktябritskaya Revolutionaya, now the Voz Konstantin Radzevsky is like looking at the future the Voz intends. Was once the Gangut of the Tsar, before decades of Bolshevik corruption, will now serve a true Russia once more. There's only one thing left to do. Radzevsky finishes his thundering speech, takes a cursory glance at the assorted smaller ships that had been equally refurbished, and takes the bottle placed next to him. In more civilized age, that bottle would contain champagne, but for now, local vodka would have to do. One hefty swing in the bottle speeds towards the battleship rump, hitting it with deep clung, and then doesn't break. An awkward silence follows. The Voz stares at the still intact bottle flailing intact near the hole. Then, with barely contained anger, draws his sidearm and shoots the bottle, so that at last vodka splashes his flagship. For the rest of the ceremony, the rest of the guests make sure to be extra deferential. After all, nobody defies an order from the Voz, especially not a bottle. The Voz rules with C. I had a creeping feeling that was gonna happen. Could do some overtures to Germany, why not? Now that we've secured to the Far East and declared the Russian government, we've been able to legitimize ourselves in the world's eyes. We finally contact our brothers to the west, the Germans, who've been thus far one of the most active participants in the destruction of the Jewish forces fighting for the creation of their world order. While it's true that the Germans may be wary of a united Russia, especially one that will be as strong as the one our Voss has envisioned, Radzevsky's indicated that he's willing to grant preferential resource use and other minor concessions in return for German economic and military assistance, as well as, perhaps even more importantly, diplomatic recognition as a rightful Russia. A delegation has already been selected from among the RP's most esteemed and ideological diplomats. All that's left Let's just send them off. I'm sure that won't go wrong at all. I don't see how. No. Never. Well, South Africa's imploding a little bit. Then again, what else is new? I'm doing this well, actually, they have beaten the Boers. That is interesting. Well, that does not bode well for the Germans, really. Not that it bode well for the Yofen to lose it to begin with, but it looks like their bonus and their benefits are starting to fall apart a little bit. And are likely going to continue to do so. Onwards we go. Could do poverty relief programs. Probably going to need those. Same with agricultural mechanization, methinks. To the foreign ministers of the mighty greater German Reich. Salutations of leader of the esteemed RFP. It is my great pleasure to bring wonderful news from the Far East. Army is a triumph of the decadent Judeo-Bolshevik dogs who once soiled this land with their disgusting presence, bringing victory to the National Socialist cause and undoubtedly redeeming Russia in the eyes of the world. With your presence here secured, I now extend my hand to you and your mighty nation in friendship and solidarity. As we are both nations who grossly follow the tenets of the late, great Adolf Hitler, it would make a great deal of sense to reach common ground in diplomatic terms, no? Regrettably, our state still struggles to obtain recognition among the nations of the world. No doubt this is the work of powerful Jewish elites who would like nothing more than to see our movement ground into dust before it can truly challenge their reign of terror over the world. Germany, however, is different. Your mighty people have rejected the Jew and their insidious plans for global domination. It's because of this that I reached out to this great nation for recognition as the true heir to Russia's legacy, a legacy untarnished by the people of Judeo-Bolshevism. Although it's indeed true that our two peoples have not seen eye to eye in the past, perhaps we could use this opportunity to begin a new relation for Russo-German relations, dutifully united as ideological brethren. I shall await your response with great enthusiasm. Yours, Konstantin Vladimir Ruzetsky, Vols of Holy Russia. Perfect. Now to await their response. Meanwhile, to a proud army. In the darkest hour of our Vaz's journey to national unification, our troops did what they had to. We simply couldn't afford to do anything else. Commanders were made to accept the fact that the doctrine we were presented into using was for unit organizations barely larger than civil militias. Now they're in control of the Far East, however, things are much, much different. We stood the precipice of greatness for the first time in a long time. We can afford to have our commanders focus on a real doctrine. Armies will be that of the highest quality. Modern doctrines, modern armies, a modern state. This trio will ensure us victory in the coming years. God, nation, and labor. There we go. This is all kind of coming along. Okay, I gotta say. Nova Polska's winning. I think that is very, very funny. The office of the Vaz had often had its furniture changed and moved around, seemingly erratically by order of Radzewski himself, who often experimented with the best way to lay out his desk, drinking chairs, and artwork. Presently, the desk sat in the middle of the room, closer to the back window, which looked out into Radzewski. Across the entire room, tucked away into one of the corners, was a trio of drinking chairs and a small table in between them. Radzewski sat behind the desk. His foreign minister, Spetsovsky, sat in the chair facing the Vaz, quietly observing the temperamental dictator. How many days has it been? 7, sir. Spetsovsky replied, pausing before he spoke, the words only reluctantly leaving his mouth. 2 or 3 seconds of silence passed as Radzewski's temper grew and grew until it boiled over. He picked up his glass of vodka and threw it across the room, sailing at incredible speed until it impacted upon the wall just over the aging Spetsovsky's head. At least that vodka broke, I guess. The foreign minister winced as particles of glass and vodka sprinkled all over his head. 7 fucking days! All of what we have done for nothing? How fucking dare they? Spetsovsky was used to the Vaz's volatile temper. He knew how to weather the storm. Silence. His mouth formed into a curt scowl as he watched his master's rage about. I will never forgive Hitler's fucking henchmen. They've forgotten their roots. And they will regret their ignorance of our cause. The tantrum would pass and Pskovsky would be dismissed. As he went home, grateful that the Vaz's rage was limited to his office, and not himself, he reflected on the cause of the outbursts. Silence from Germany followed Rzewski's outreach of a friendship. Once home, he sighed and reminded himself that he needed to find someone else to bring the bad news to the Vaz. Clever. I'm gonna see if we can get 45 political power so I can go in and get working on the mechanization. There we go. And they've betrayed us. The car containing the elderly Mikhail Spetsovsky trundled among the streets of the city. Its one passenger heading home for the Vaz's residence. The former minister for the Russian government authorities was visibly sweating and raised a trembling hand to his forehead, dabbing it gently with a tissue as he recalled his most recent experience with the RFP Supreme Leader. The Vaz had sent a letter to the Nazi government in Berlin, requesting recognition and wishing them well, explaining to them the success of the RFP in the Far East. He expected a reply from the Germans, an indication of their willingness to cooperate, their congratulations, or even a placid diplomatic response that promised nothing. But that's exactly what had come. Nothing. As days turned to weeks and weeks into a month, Rzewski lost his patience. Calling Spetsovsky in his office, he demanded to know why the Germans had taken so long to reply. When the foreign minister replied that he had not an inkling, and there still hadn't been a response, the fragile temple of Vaz exploded on the septuagenarian as he proceeded to throw things at Spetsovsky and scream about the injustices that had been visited upon him. As Spetsovsky's car neared his residence, the elder statesman tried to remind himself that the response was alcohol-soaked and will be forgotten by the next day. But the sweating only intensified as the dizziness overtook him. I need to lie down, Spetsovsky said, to no one in particular. As his car pulled up to his house, his door was open, but he had a hard time getting out. The dizziness seemed to have infested not just his mind, but his body as well. His driver tried to help him regain balance, but Spetsovsky pushed him away. Tense tightness in his chest gripped him. On the way up the stairs to his house, Mikhail Mikhailovich Spetsovsky suffered a heart attack and died. Vanquished by those he believed in. Well, now we got this guy instead. It's actually a little better. I'll take Shekarev instead. We're back under 91% poverty. That's nice to see. It's sad when I'm celebrating a sub 91% poverty rate, but that's what we get. The chilly morning Rzewsk betrayed itself through the breath vapor released by the attendees of Mikhail Spetsovsky's funeral. The funeral itself had been quite small, included whatever Spetsovsky had in the way of family and key members of the RFP, including Rzewski, Bolotov, and Shekarev. However, the subsequent RFP-sponsored march and public rally celebrating Spetsovsky's life had been far from small. While with citizens trained in from other places and rural peasants brought in by the black shirts, the Vaz of the All-Russian government in the Far East took his place on a balcony overlooking thousands of his apparent devotees. Beginning to speak, he talked in a somber tone about Mikhail Spetsovsky, apparently a good friend and one of the chief ideologues of the RFP. Spetsovsky was more than just a party member. He was an inspiration, an anchor in a wanton storm. Throughout the early years of the party, he guided me and many others towards the light of true National Socialism. His wise and sage advice, earned, not bought, through his many years of service to the fight against the Jews and the communists, enlightened many members of our party, guiding us all, even to his last day. This man, the gray eminence of the RFB, the eldest of our wives, had always found himself dedicated to the fight against the Judeo-Bolshevik curse which has afflicted not just our nation, but the world at large. This dedication came from an early age. Mikhail had participated in the Black Hundreds, and when he came to us in Harbin, he readily volunteered to us his experience and inspired us to intensify and bring focus our fight against those who plague Russia. His loss, the result of his resolute enthusiasm and continued commitment to his work despite his age, is one that resounds with all true members of our party. Today is a day of mourning, as we remember one of the men behind our movement. The last of the Black Hundreds Perhaps. Well, that's kind of sucky. The guy was so stressed out. Had a heart attack. I saw like a flamingo for a second over there. I was a little confused, but there you go. Proud Army. You could do the Free All-Russian Air Force. And why not? The Free All-Russian Air Force may be the grandest land forces that the Far East have seen in perhaps decades, but they're just like that, a land force. Now that we've captured the Cheryomusky Air Base, we can begin to look towards the skies, with the intent of making them the next domain of dominance for the brave Russian warrior. With the airbase under our control, a decent pool of men to draw from, and our eastern benefactor is likely more than willing to provide us with the material and training that we need to create a new generation of jet pilots. It seems the Free All-Russian Air Force is not only easily obtainable, but around the corner. Well, there we go. Our debt is insane. There's no looking past that. Thought I issued the command to... Oh, there we go. There we go, guys. We're debt free now. Fucking what? Listen, man, debt is just a Western conspiracy to keep the Russian people down. We can just wipe it away. It doesn't matter. Next, we'll do Japanese designs. We cannot have an air force without planes. And the few planes that we have are far from eras far gone. It would be laughable to put these ancient beasts in the sky. However, little experience in the way of jets and modern aircraft, even the most gifted pilots and designers would have trouble coming up with working designs. There's an answer, and it lies in Tokyo. The Japanese have thus far been highly generous with the amount of material, economic, and technological support they've afforded us thus far. Our contacts in the Japanese capital have already indicated that the Japanese would be more than willing to provide us not only with designs, but actual jets that are able to jumpstart the Free All-Russian Air Force. Of course, these jets won't be cheap, but then again, what is in the spear? Good question. And I mean, we'll figure that out soon enough. I mean, what is it? Novopolska's winning. I find that funny. Silicon Dreams is dropping the Friday the next Friday from the date of this recording, which admittedly is probably going to be next week when this goes up. And South Africa is back, boys. It was a rough one indeed, but it looks like they've prevailed. Look at that. We finally have our new anti-air that we can get deployed. Get working on that. We'll work on this as well. And military factories will go ahead and get working on anti-air. As well as our new motorized. And we'll go ahead and expand this place over here. Despite us controlling the Cheryomusky Air Base, by far the largest in the Far East, it's pitifully outdated. Fit to house propeller planes and any plans for modernization abandoned during the initial collapse of the Union. While Cheryomusky is our greatest asset in the creation and fielding of a modern Air Force, that doesn't mean that it can't be improved. We should expand the airbase and modernize it to make sure that it not only has a space for the great number of jets that we have planned to keep there, but also longer runways, taking into account the longer lead that the jets need, as well as modern air traffic control toward towers and mechanisms. We'll turn this airstrip into an airport of the future. Wonderful. Free civilian factories. What do I want to do with these civilian factories? A lot of these places could seriously use some infrastructure. Oh, God. That's railways, not infrastructure. Silly me. We'll expand that over here. Get this up to 5 as well. Yeah. And I'm just gonna let this part keep going until we end up taking out Russia. That's kind of where I'm at. Or once we reunify the East, rather. Which one is this? That's a civilian dictatorship. Well, they're not doing the best right now, but well, these guys aren't doing the best right now. It could change, I suppose. But I have my reservations at this point. Looks like we're gonna have a green France. And we only have one more focus we can do, so we'll denounce the elders of Zion. According to records of secret Jewish Zionism, Solomon and other Jewish learned men already, in 929 BC, thought out a scheme in theory of a peaceful conquest of the world universe by Zion. As history developed, the scheme was worked out in detail and completed by men who were subsequently initiated into this question. These learned men decided to conquer the world for Zion with the slyness of a symbolic snake, whose head was to represent those who'd been initiated in plans of the Jewish administration, and the body of a snake to represent the Jewish people. As this snake penetrated into the hearts of nations where it countered and undermined and devoured all non-Jewish powers of these states. Awake, all you faithful Russians, bound to the state in your vows. Awake, all of you, and denounce the elders of Zion across the Pacific, marionetting its so-called leaders of the free world as if it was a puppet show for children. These are the men who tout democracy as if it makes them strong, not weak. Denounce these fools who slave away for their Jewish masters. It's a little nutty, but okay. I have no idea what the hell he's talking about. Here we go, World War II assault weapons. That'd be cool. The death of the Tsar. Feels bad. Well, get manpower, political power, infrastructure. Forts. And yeah. But yeah, Guangdong is getting their content Friday when I'm recording. I'm very curious to see how it turns out. Because it seems pretty interesting. And even if it was my first pick for to get new content, any new TNO content I will take right now. To the corrupt Zionist snakes of the United States Congress, by all that is holy on this earth, you will be hard-pressed to find a larger collection of corrupt kleptocrats, disgusting race traders, and power-hungry Jews. Do you really think you've accomplished anything gathering your so-called Capitol building like fat pigs to a feeding trough? Perhaps it would be more forgiving if you weren't feeding on the hopes and dreams of thousands of suffering Americans. If only they knew how many of their problems are caused by all-powerful elites who claim to represent them on one hand, while pillaging their wealth and destroying their racial identity on the other. The only thing I find worse than your blatant greed and suspiciously Jewish ways is the decadence and broken system your Congress represents. Democracy, what a joke. I'm going to take this opportunity to call it like it is. A farce. You allow your people to vote, but you and I both know that this is all just smoke and mirrors. Powerful Jews who subtly pull the strings of your country are the ones who decide the next fool to lead America to its inevitable ruin. Not the wolves, not the people. It's quite clear that America is a nation of blind sheep, led by Jewish wolves. America is destined to fail, and that this is a fact. You allow women to hold the powerful political offices, do you still claim that America is the greatest nation on earth? Such is the way of a Jew. Once the Zionists get their ways, and theories will attempt to run roughshod over everyone else, the day will soon come, and I am sure it won't be long, when the American people will realize just how misled they really are, and take matters into their own hands. Rotten hell. Konstantin Vladimirovich Rudzevsky, Vols of Holy Russia. That'll show them. Prove the healthcare network. Poverty's actually going down at a decent rate at this rate. And that's all we can do right now. Ah, speaking of women. I don't know if I've actually seen the AI elect Chase Smith before, so that's interesting. Oh, well, crikey. Beer maintains the union. Interesting. I haven't seen Chase Smith's tree before. I know the VP she can have is Agnew, who was a Nixon's VP in real life after he was elected in '68. Which is a fun little fact if you didn't know. Do advanced support equipment. If I can, I think I can pull them up somewhere on here. Africa breathes. I don't know where I can pull it up exactly, but if I can't even pull it up, honestly. Chase Smith is an interesting president. I haven't played her too much, but I know she has some interesting opportunities and options. And there's looks like Italy is one there. Let's go ahead and fire up Zaya's turbines. I'm curious if we can do anything else here. Yes, sir. Excellent. Good timing on that, too. Can get extra production. So slap down an extra military factory. And We'll do air parity, I guess. We can train up new guys, but I think we're okay with what we got right now. Can work on more anti-air because we're going to need that. We got an advantage in the north, potentially. We're maxed out. I think we could still use a little extra infrastructure. And Briatia, at least, I guess. Work on this. Can actually begin the invasion soon. And by soon, I mean right now. And by right now, I guess I still mean soon. But our fortifications are going to be ready. In Irkutsk. I forget if I even have an extra general. I do have at least one more. That's good. So I'm going to need another general. Coming up. Work on the new infantry kit. And autosave is kicking in. There we go. There we go. I need an offensive line, that's right. Probably need that if we're going to do anything. Struggling a little bit off the bat. Although, we're still beating them casualty-wise. Still prevailing there. Not much. Looks like we can't do anything else on the manpower issue. I'm actually doing really bad in the south. Very, very, very bad. Uh-oh. Well. Onwards. Jesus. Well, I mean, they have like, they can actually support a ton of generals, so I'm kind of damned if I do, damned if I don't here. Units cannot be disbanded. My God. Oh, I gotta. Kind of sucks that over here we have a grand total of 4 dudes can actually lead an army while they have 80. Doesn't help that they actually let women in their army, but I guess we gotta say that's degenerate now. Hold on. There we go. There's a Congo crisis. If you guys want to actually do something. Looks like we lost a guy off the bat. Always not nice to see, but hopefully we won't have to worry about that coming up from here on out. What happened? Yeah, we have that back, which is nice. Remember, that tripped me out a little bit. I think if you don't push out after a bit, they just keep that. I think that's how it works. Keep pushing. Make sure you guys actually start pushing as well. Oh, Argentina, okay. I'll do logistics companies. These guys need to actually move. Come on. I'm just gonna delete all that. Some new orders will probably get their asses back in line. So it's the AI. You always gotta remember. It's you gotta work on a curve with the HOI 4 AI. And I already have to play on a curve because I'm me. So, going to be sure. Get a new. We'll put that towards military stuff. Probably starting to push a little bit. It's coming along. Now you try doing that, buddy. Going Civil War. That guy out. That's not quite enough, it seems. Or is it? No, no, it's not. give that out. Give that a shot, guys. Oh, shoot. They took Kemerovo back. It's a bit of a pain. But we can hopefully catch up soon enough. And we can take Kemerovo back. We didn't even need to do that. We got it. Mad King's reign is over. Do some Japanese experts to Magadan. I do not see why not. Any last minute stuff I want to do before this says goodbye to Ever? Do a little bit of that. And now, Siberian reunification. Siberian national state, here we are. So, admin efficiency. Oh, a purge, who would have thought? Well, we'll check all this out next time, my friends. I'm gonna leave it here for now. Thank you for watching. Like the video if you like it. Dislike if you didn't. If any comments, feedback, concern, leave a comment section below. I read all comments again. Appreciate any feedback you might have for me. Check out my various links down in the description box below. And that's really about it for now, my friends. Thanks so much for watching. My name has been Mr. DB333. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.